internal trade and international collaborations. His visionary leadership gave Startup India a robust institutional foundation, reflected in the release of Startup India, The Way Ahead by our Honorable Prime Minister. He's also the visionary behind ONDC, an innovation aimed at democratizing the e-commerce industry. His previous role as additional DG of UP Police introduced groundbreaking initiatives such as UP 100, the world's largest citizen response system. He recently received the Distinguished Services Award at the convocation of the class of 2023. Sir, we warmly welcome you back to the show. Your expertise and achievements continue to inspire the BITS Pilani community. I'll hand
Thank
over the
you.
stage to you.
Thank you, Sanidhya. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're perfectly audible.
All right. Thank you. So I see there are about 11 students here, and out of which, one is Sanidhya, one probably is the organizer, and so there are about 15, 16. All right. So now, it is good to have a close group of people who are committed to entrepreneurship rather than having a huge class. I'm extremely happy about those who have joined today, and I hope, like in our BITS tradition, we are absolutely free to join or not join any session. So I hope you will find some value in the time that you invest in today, right? So, Sanidhya wanted me to speak on fostering entrepreneurship through public policy. Now, उसमें मतलब ये हुआ कि how does public policy help entrepreneurship? Number one, and number two, what is there in it for BITS Pilani, for students of BITS Pilani? So I have tried to handle these two things. I have a presentation spanning about 40-45 slides. So how much time do I have?
So you can take close to an hour easily.
All right. So I'll try to take about 40-45 minutes. Whenever you get bored, just tell me. We are done with it, and I'll stop it there, right? And if you have any questions, most welcome. I'll try and start with this thing. And if you have any questions, please post them right away, because बीच में बाद में जाके आप करोगे तो उसमें मुझे भी नहीं पता लग रहा है कि आपको सुनाई दे रहा है, समझ में आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा है. So what I would encourage is, if you have questions, ask me right away, right? Okay. So
just one thing, guys, please raise your hand before asking questions. Don't interrupt.
Yeah, so somebody needs to moderate. So I think Sanidhya or someone.
I'll moderate.
Yeah, somebody can moderate. If you have questions, I would rather take the questions right away, because otherwise, usme, it may not be very this thing. So, all right. All right. So, can you see my screen? Is the screen visible?
No, sir.
No, sir. It's not visible.
Not visible. Okay. So, what do I do now? Share the screen. Okay. Now, is that visible now?
Yes, sir. We can see the screen.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir. We can see the presentation.
All right. Okay. So, friends, this presentation is about 45 slides. I am not going to take a lot of time. If you want, I will share the presentation with you, so that, if you feel like you can refer to it later. Now, you see, before we talk of entrepreneurship, let's look at what's happening across the world. Like how academic campuses are giving way to successful companies coming out of campuses. Globally, 9 of 10 top universities are producing those ventures are based out of US. This is what the statistics are, and we are gradually going to change this. Gradually, we are changing this. So, Stanford has about 1427. This is data as of recent data. University of California, Berkeley, 1400, right? So, there are about one university producing about 1500. 1500. These are what are these? These are venture capital backed startups. Venture capital backed startups. So startup, we'll understand what a VC backed startup is over a period of time. But for now, please understand the benchmark here is 1500 startups backed by VCs getting out of one university. Now that is the benchmark that we have. And in terms of India, so Delhi University of Delhi, they say, has about 217 founders. University of Delhi. Now, please understand that entrepreneurship is not a monopoly of only the engineering or the medical colleges. Even science, commerce, arts, everyone can have entrepreneurs. If you look at the unicorns, now, the screen that we saw was venture capital backed startups. Now let's have a look at the unicorns. So out of those 1500 unicorns, 1427, Stanford has produced about 51 unicorns. Harvard has produced about 37 unicorns. So these are the numbers, right? And if you look at number of India unicorn founders, now IIT Delhi has 10 and BITS Pilani has 5. These numbers are 2020. We may have a slightly larger number. If I remember correctly, it's now 8 unicorns coming out of BITS Pilani, right? So that's the number. Now, so IIT Delhi is already, higher than 9, higher than Harvard. Now there is this difference. This is 2017. This is 2020. Valuations keep changing, so that could be the difference. And if you look at the India scenario, unicorn founders coming from Indian universities, BITS Pilani has about 15 now. This is the latest data, and all other IITs. IIT Delhi has 23, Kharagpur has 24, and there are others. So this is the data that I have got. This is just to give you a thought, the food for thought. So if you are thinking of entrepreneurship, this is what is your goal. You want to start a company, create wealth for yourself, for others, for society, and then go forward to creating a unicorn, right? Now, what is startup? Startup is essentially needed for economic prosperity, essentially for wealth creation. You create wealth, there are new opportunities, new markets, and then you improve the quality of life. Now, please remember that if you create a startup only for the sake of getting a valuation or getting money, making money out of that startup, you will never be successful. There is no one in this world who gives you any money if he doesn't find value in it. So essentially, you need to be solving a problem which hasn't been solved till now. That is what. If you are able to solve a problem that hasn't been solved the way you want to do it, in an innovative way, where people see there is value in what you're doing, then only you get valuations. And this is what happens. Now, public policy for startups, the active public policy for startups started in 2016, January 2016, and 16 January to be precise. The Startup India initiative was started, and it was launched at the level of the Prime Minister. If you can see, the Finance Minister, the then Finance Minister, and the Commerce Minister there, where they are launching the Startup India action plan. And there are basically based on 3 broad areas: simplification and handholding. It's too difficult for people in India to create companies and to run companies. So the entire process needs to be simplified. Then those innovative founders, they need funds, they need incentives, they need support when they are working on innovative ideas. Government needs to support them. And finally, there has to be close collaboration between industry and academia, and the startups that are there need to be incubated. Like, जब डिलीवरी होती है तो एक छोटा सा बच्चा सपोजिंग प्री मैच्योर हो जाता है, तो उसको हम एक इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर में रखते हैं. यू मस्ट हैव ऑल हर्ड. Similarly, the incubator means these are business incubators. Meaning what? Young fledgling companies, young kids working on some ideas, they need guidance on how to create a company, how to do the compliances, how to get not on the wrong side of the law. You are going to employ people. So what are the labor laws? What are the environmental laws? All that is part of this. So there was a broad action plan launched in 2016. So this is where active public policy in India started. That was in 2016. And over a period of time, whatever we've done last 7 years, Now, 16th January is now the National Startup Day. So we have, programs lined up, and we have Innovation Week, which is done every year. And this was the objective. So the PM said, Hindustan में कोई ऐसा जिला ना हो, कोई ऐसा block ना हो. You look at the audacity of this objective. हर block में startup चाहिए. जो rural area में लोग हैं, वहाँ से भी startup आने चाहिए. This is not limited to engineers. This is not limited to those who are getting into higher education. This is not limited to those who are getting into formal education. It is equally applicable to a chai wala thela or a chaat wala thela or anyone else doing agriculture or anyone who can create wealth for himself. So now the Startup India Hub is the website. We have this very detailed portal, startupindia.gov.in. You should have a look at that. It will give you huge resources. This is what we've created over the last 7 years. You have a whole lot of learning and development programs. There are templates. There are virtual showcases. All our challenges, grand challenges, announcements are on this platform. All the schemes and policies of Government of India, all state governments of the country, they are all there on this portal. Now you connect with the ecosystem partners, whether this is incubators, TIE, everything. There are all global best of the publications, reports, whatever is relevant to the startup ecosystem is available here. I would strongly urge you to spend some time, and I'm sure you will actually find something useful there. Now, what is a startup? Can someone tell me what is a startup? Anyone? So let's not waste time. So startup is a formally, if you have an idea, you are not a startup. If you have a solution, you are not a startup. Startup is when you create a company. Now that company can be, any of these forms. It can be private limited company. It could be an LLP. It could be a registered partnership. Any of these, any of the three. And then that company needs to be working for, on the right side, innovation, scalability, job creation, and wealth creation. So practically, the definition is very, very flexible. And if you are doing anything new, it's a new company, we'll say, okay, we recognize that you are a startup. So don't worry about the last part. But then, one company is a startup till maximum 10 years from the date of its incorporation. What does it mean? This means that, all the benefits, there are certain benefits that Government of India gives. All those benefits are available only for the first 10 years. And till the time you exceed your revenue by 100 crores. So, agar aapka revenue 100 crores se zyada ho ja raha hai, or it's 10 years since the date of incorporation, then you are no more a startup. It is believed that you have good enough bandwidth to hire enough people, sustain on your own, and then be a responsible company on your own. So ये जो अभी कहते हैं ना कि Zomato is a startup, ये वो startup. So they started as a startup, but then in jargon, in a day-to-day language, we call them a startup. But strictly speaking, Government of India defines startup as this one. ये slide पे जो है वही startup है. And if you have a startup, it is better to get it recognized by Government of India. So how do you get it recognized? So there is an online application form on the same website. Upload documents. It takes about 15-20 minutes. And we say that in 4 working days, we will give you the recognition as a startup. In most of the cases, you will get it if your documents are in order. We will not get into what you're doing, why you're doing, and all that. And then, we issue a blockchain verified certificate with a QR code, so you can keep it in your DigiLocker or whatever. And that serves as a one single point across government. So whenever you apply in any of the departments for procurement or anything, that serves as a certificate for recognition. Now, if you do that, what are the benefits? So the first thing that happens is, there are easier norms for public procurement. Now, what is public procurement? Public procurement means procurement by or purchases by government entities. Now, you would know that government is the biggest purchaser of all private entities. Huge purchases are being done by government. And there are companies whose businesses are based on government purchases. And then, in government purchases, there are some norms which say that you need to have so much of turnover, you need to have so many years of entrepreneurship, or itna aapka net worth hona chahiye. So all those things are exempted for startups. So this is a very big advantage of a recognized startup. Then if you have a patent and if you apply for getting a patent, then startups ki applications are processed on a priority. Startup applications are processed on a priority if you are recognized startup. So just to give you some idea, normally patent की applications को process करने में पहले यहाँ 8 साल लगता था, about 8 years. Average time is reduced to now 3 years, but in case of startups, it's been granted in 2.5 months also. So this is the speed at which the government has worked. There are exemptions under the Income Tax Act. We can get into the specifics, but for this period, this is good enough for you to understand that you will get some tax exemptions also. Angel tax also. Then there are funding. So there is a fund of funds for startups that we have set up, 10,000 crores and 1,000 crore seed fund for startups. So that also is given only to those startups who are recognized by Startup India. These are the benefits of getting this. Now, the portal also gives you a whole lot of pro bono services, whole lot of cloud services, application-based services, legal services, cloud telephony. Whenever you are starting up a company or doing anything like that, you will need this. So all this is available pro bono on Startup India website. So you can simply start using them and then scale up as you need, as you go along. There are huge knowledge resources available. What are the Startup India action plan? Now Startup India toolkit. Now what I would suggest is you simply go to Startup India website and download the Startup India toolkit. That toolkit will tell you exactly what are the benefits of getting recognized as a startup, and if you are a startup, what is it that you can get from government or anything. Some much more details are there. There is this integration of Government of India's portal with all state governments. So for example, now you are in the state of Rajasthan. So Startup Rajasthan portal will be integrated with Government of India Startup India portal. So if you apply on Startup Rajasthan portal, it is interconnected with Startup India portal. Similarly, tendering process, government e-marketplace, all those portals are integrated with Startup India portal. It's just one single stop shop for startups. Over a period of time, we've built great capacities. Startup India, when we started, actually किसी को पता नहीं था कि startup होता क्या है. In fact, Government of India में भी पता नहीं था लोगों को कि startup होता क्या है. When I joined the ministry in 2017, August, September, I did not know what a startup was. Then, we learned what is a startup, and then we built capacities across Government of India ministries. And then across state governments, सारी state governments में capacity building programs किए. And then over a period of time, state governments में they building capacity. So we did a state ranking exercise. कि कौन सा state startups को कितना support करता है. And how did we do that? So we analyzed what are the global good practices, and then based on those good practices within our context, we created a framework that this is what we need to do for supporting the startups. And then we took the teams from government, from private sector to best of the startup ecosystems in the world and within the country. So we created huge capacities across the states. 2018 में किया था. And this has resulted into a huge reforms that we will come. Now, सबसे बड़ा advantage इसका ये हुआ कि over a period of time, there are 31 states and UTs are now with startup policies, 27 in the law. And for your very kind information, Rajasthan had a startup policy even before Startup India was launched. So you are actually privileged to be working in Rajasthan. So now there are 31 states across the country, because you are all coming in from across the country. You will go back to your states or whatever. And so you should know this. We have built capacities across all enablers, incubators, accelerators, uh, which are not just in metros, but in tier 2, tier 3 cities. And this is what has been the effort of what has been the result of all this. Now, there have been 57 reforms done by Government of India. 57. This usually comes through a number of structured events that we have created. Union budget mein hota hai, global VC summit we do. This we've tried to address issues of flipping of startups. So when you get funding from US, the US investors will tell you to incorporate in the Silicon Valley. There are reasons for doing it. There are reasons for not doing it. So we try that, companies stay in India and then they create businesses here. Because usually if you create a huge business model in India, it's very easy to export it outside. लेकिन अगर आप बाहर करोगे और बाहर के मार्केट्स के लिए अगर आप सॉल्यूशंस बनाते हो, वो इंडिया में चलेगा या नहीं, इसकी कोई गारंटी नहीं है. और जो स्केल आपको इंडिया में मिलता है, वो स्केल आपको बाहर नहीं मिलता. So whole lot of EODB means ease of doing business. So basically, as I said, अगर किसी ने कंपनी बनाई है तो कंपनी को चलाना, ऑपरेशंस करना ड्यूरिंग डे टू डे, उसको कैसे इजी किया जाए, सो दैट इंस्पेक्टर्स एंड अदर थिंग्स डोंट कम आफ्टर यू. नाउ फंडिंग के लिए, स्टार्टअप की फंडिंग के लिए देयर आर स्पेसिफिक प्रोग्राम्स. वन इज कॉल्ड द फंड ऑफ फंड्स फॉर स्टार्टअप. सो यू नीड नॉट वरी अबाउट हाउ this works. Essentially, what this fund of funds has done is it has created a number of VCs in India. VCs. So how does it work? It works that if somebody wants to create a venture capital fund, we say that okay, we'll give you X crores of money, X amount of money, but then out of this X amount of money that we are giving you, you have to invest 2X into startups, into recognized startup. So this is how this works. And so it is a 10,000 crore fund. It is, and now we are seeing that 23 unicorns are there in our fund and FFS portfolio, and there are 35 who are likely to be unicorns very soon. Then there is this Startup India Seed Fund scheme. Your BITS Pilani has taken advantage of this, and there is this incubator. This is done through incubators. So this is, we don't do it directly. Government of India doesn't do it directly. So there are incubators. We give 5 crores to each incubator, and then incubator selects the startups on their own. So I will come to that. BITS Pilani के दो incubators हैं. एक आपका पिलानी में है, एक गोवा में है. Both have been granted under this Startup India Seed Fund scheme, and they have further funded many startups out of this fund. So this is also going on. Then there is, this, you will find this very interesting for those who want to get into the startup journey. There is a credit guarantee scheme. So, when you, credit guarantee का मतलब ये है कि when you don't want to, dilute your equity, you create a company with a certain equity. You don't want to dilute an equity, and you want to say कि मुझे equity नहीं देना है, मुझे उधार दे दो. Give me debt. Now the debt, if a bank gives you a debt or a VC gives you a debt, there are two kinds of debt that you get. Banks में अभी इतना समझ नहीं है startup ecosystem की, उनमें इतना potential नहीं है. They don't have that flexibility, dynamism. अब धीरे-धीरे create हो रहा है. Like for example, Bank of India करने लगा है, Punjab National Bank करने लगा है. I found ICICI and SBI to be quite slow in adaptation of the startup culture there. So banks अगर आपको उधार दे रहे हैं, debt दे रहे हैं, या आपको VCs आपको debt दे रहे हैं, then that debt is covered by this credit guarantee scheme. So that even if the debt is not repaid, up to a certain extent, the credit is guaranteed. So this is how the government supports those banks and those VCs who give credit to the startups. So this is how the public policy works. Then there is an Investor Connect portal on Startup India website. You have a look at that. So Investor Connect portal, AI-based matchmaking platform. You want some money, there are others who want to give out money. And naturally, there is huge money which is sitting in India and abroad. which now people believe that investment into a startup is a new asset class. So, for example, I'll hold some money in FD, some money in mutual fund, some money in equity. Equity means publicly listed companies. I want to invest something in private equity, like in startups. So now there is more and more need of avenues to look at the best of the startups with a good potential of revenue generation. So there is this matchmaking platform, and there are people who are connected. You can have a look at the Startup India website. So if I just summarize, the what we've just discussed. So in the pre-stage or ideation stage or the seed stage, you have the seed fund, the seed fund. In the seed fund, you can get a grant of up to 10 lakhs or convertible debt. In seed fund, we have clearly said that startup ka equity nahi lena hai. The incubator can't take equity on the startup. It will only give you debt at the time when you feel you are ready to convert it to equity, and then you can do it at your terms. So incubator will not be able to tell you कि मुझे इतने % equity दो. So this is how the seed fund scheme operates. Then there is this equity funding. Equity funding is through VCs. So that is what is usually done. This is supported through fund of funds, as I have said. And then collateral free debt. This is for scaling up. Sometimes you get huge amounts of money. Sometimes you get a smaller amount of money. But in any case, whether you get it from banks or VCs, we support the issue of the credit to the startups by this. Now, providing mentorship, of course, startups need mentoring. You need guidance. So there is this Mark portal on Startup India website. You can have a look at it. Ask for specific persons. Pro bono mentorship you get. You can ask for guidance, and then you will get some guidance. This is the website that you can have a look. We also work for providing market access to startups. Market access meaning what? You connect startups with corporates, companies who are looking for a particular kind of products. Or if you are working in a particular field, we will connect you with the right kind of companies who may have the potential to create products based on what you are doing. So it is a mutually beneficial relationship. So it works. They give you mentoring, they give you funding, and then you can sell the whole thing also. So this is the market access. And then, as I told you about the government e-marketplace. So government e-marketplace when you have a ready product, government e-marketplace means all government entities are now mandated to buy only from here. सरकार में जितनी परचेज होती है वो सारी जेम के थ्रू होती है. गवर्नमेंट ई मार्केट प्लेस 100% परचेजेस. छोटा मोटा इधर उधर से खरीद सकते हैं, बट देयर इज अ थ्रेशोल्ड कि आपको इससे ज्यादा कुछ खरीदना है, यू हैव टू बाय एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम जेम. और स्टार्टअप्स के लिए देयर इज नो प्रायर एक्सपीरियंस, प्रायर टर्नओवर, अर्नेस्ट मनी डिपॉजिट. ये तीनों से एग्जम्पशन है. और स्टार्टअप इंडिया वेबसाइट से अगर आप जाओगे जेम पे रजिस्टर करने एज अ स्टार्टअप, what we have done is there is a startup runway on GEM. So you go to startup runway on GEM, register there. आपका वो automatically online verification करेगा, given or based on your Startup India recognition number, and you are there. You can simply start selling. It's actually that easy. And you can see, there are 14,000 startups who have now got orders of more than 8,000 crores with 1,40,000 orders. We also provide international market access. We have huge, connects with most of the countries outside, and we have created structured programs for collaboration with multilateral agencies. So, जितने best of the startup ecosystems हैं, US, Japan, Europe, Germany, we've created bridges with them. So हमारा उनसे ये कहना होता है, हमें उनका पैसा चाहिए. We want investors' money for Indian startups, and we want their markets for our startups. So this is how we've been working. So this actually helps a lot. Then we obviously you need to know कि startup क्या कर रहे हैं. So we have these national startup awards. There is, whenever you want, you can get into more details. 10 लाख का उसमें अमाउंट होता है प्राइज, लेकिन 10 लाख का अवार्ड इज नथिंग. व्हाट एक्चुअली startup benefits from मैं अभी दिखाता हूँ आपको, but this is the process of National Startup Awards. In January we invite applications और अगले 16 जनवरी को नए वाले स्टार्टअप्स का साल भर की प्रोसेस के बाद में उसका अनाउंसमेंट होता है पूरे साल भर का. There are 50 huge sectors starting from agriculture to tourism, space, health, everything is there. और उसमें we are now getting applications from tier 2, tier 3 cities, majority of the states, and many of these startups are, who are coming from tier 2, tier 3 are solving problems of the globe. You need to see, just go to the website, have a look at some of the startups which have won these awards in the last 2-3 years, and then you will realize कितना काम इंडिया में हो रहा है. Okay. So what I was saying was कि 10 लाख रुपए का इनाम is nothing. Actually, this is how every startup who gets to the stage of presentation before the jury gets this. Please mind it. जो जिसको suppose एक sector में there is only one startup who will get the first prize. But if there are 10 startups who have presented to the jury, so उस stage तक भी जितने, we get about 2,500, 3,000 applications. उसमें से we select about 200 for mentoring and all these benefits. उसमें से भी about 50 go for the prizes. So those 200 जो हैं, उनको we help them raise funds, we give them mentorship, corporate connect, government connect, international market access, regulatory support, and all these benefits. Then TV में Startup India Champions करके एक show हम लोगों ने design किया है. So all these, you have a 12 series or 13 series show where each startup gets 5-10 minutes to showcase their products. And many of the startups have just said कि मेरा जैसे ही show हुआ उसके बाद में मेरा stock out हो गया. So it provides huge market opportunities for them. Then we have a Startup Advisory Council. ये हमने बनाया था. Best of the startup ecosystem members are there from across the country, and it has resulted into a number of programs for startups. Startup India holds a number of marquee events also. Technology we are using at every step. Blockchain integration with DigiLocker, everything. Totally, it's totally paperless. And then, if you look at what has happened over the last 7 years, from 4,000 to, we now have about 1 lakh startups. Startups are coming in from more than 670 districts out of 750 districts. So 84-85% of the districts now have startups coming from them. And this is true of Lakshadweep. This is true of Andaman and Nicobar. वहाँ के भी जितने डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं वहाँ पर भी स्टार्टअप अब बन रहे हैं. स्टेट पॉलिसीज 31, टोटल स्टेट्स एंड यूटीज हमारे 36 हैं और अभी 31 का पॉलिसीज बन गया है. वी हैव 108 यूनिकॉर्न्स, मोर देन 70 बिलियन की फंडिंग अब तक आ चुकी है इंडिया में, एंड ऑल दी स्टार्टअप्स हैव क्रिएटेड अबाउट 11 lakh jobs. So we are now the third largest unicorn nation. We are global innovation index में हम लोग we have grown. We were very 56 से अब हम लोग 48 पे हैं. We are the permanent chair. There is a SCO. There is a SCO council. SCO is a group of countries. उसका we are the chair for special working group on startups. This is what I had started. And now G20 अभी चल रहा है. So G20 में India's presidency में we have created a permanent group which is called the Startup Engagement Group, which is going to continue. And you just imagine the power of this. So best of the 20 economies, and there is a Startup Engagement Group. What do they want to do? Investors and startups, bringing them together and giving them market access for everything. Now, if you look at the BITS Pilani effort, so BITS Pilani has got funding from a number of Government of India programs. One is the Department of DSIR, Scientific and Industrial Research. PRISM एक program है उनका. METI का एक program है TIDE. TIDE is electronics का है. Then Startup India Seed Fund scheme I have already told you. Then IDEX is Ministry of Defence. और एक Ministry of MSME का Aspire scheme है. सब में BITS Pilani ने कुछ ना कुछ फंडिंग लिया है everywhere. And if you want to start your entrepreneurial journey, go to, I mean, I would suggest आपका जो पिलानी का इंक्यूबेटर है, एक्चुअली जो पहले सेंटर फॉर टेक्नोलॉजी TBI था, उसमें कोई खास काम हुआ नहीं. It has now been converted into PEEDS. So now this PEEDS is essentially a non-profit society. This is how we want all incubators to be, and it has been funded. Conquest, of course, you are the ones who run an accelerator. I don't know whether it is actually, whether student run accelerator can actually work. It is, you call it an accelerator, that's fine. It's good to this thing, but this is run by students. There is, for those who are working in, bio, health, that sector, there is BIRAC का एक BioNest है, and then नीति आयोग का community innovator fellowship programs है. So there are a whole lot of programs where you can get this thing. Now Pilani का जो incubator है, it has got 4 crores or 10 startup they have suggested. We have already released 3.60 crores to Pilani. Goa का 3.15 crores funds have been approved. 11 startups select हुए. So much has been given to the startups. Now this is what has been done. And if you look at Rajasthan startup policy, I start Rajasthan. So Rajasthan startup policy, I have not studied in great details, but for this session, I just wanted somebody to give me a brief of what it is. But I am told BITS Pilani is an academic partner for iStart program. BITS Pilani has to be the best in the iStart. See that you have the most prominent position in Rajasthan startup space. And there are a whole lot of programs, incubation, financial, mentorship, acceleration, and market excellence programs. So this is what, friends, this is what I wanted to tell you. And if you have any questions, I am now.
Yes, sir. We can open the floor to questions. I'll just go with the first question. ONDC, Startup India, and a number of initiatives that you talked about during your presentation, they involve a certain level of collaboration between the government and the private sector and the entrepreneurs. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs while seeking this support? Because, like, seeking help from government, there's a certain barrier that one might face.
See, Abhi, you should not worry about this. You are all, who is the senior most here? Which year?
I think we do have some third years.
Second year, third year, fourth year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, at this stage, you should not worry about all this. If you really have that entrepreneurial कीड़ा into it, अगर आपको लगता है कि आपको खुद ही कुछ करना है, then you will figure out the ways of doing it. First of all, you need to have an idea, and then उसके basis पे आप एक solution बनाओ पहले. You create a solution first. Once you have that solution, think about how you will monetize it. उससे पैसे कैसे आएंगे? Because जब तक पैसे नहीं आएंगे ना उससे, आपका सारा technology, आपका सारा वो सब बेकार है. Think about how you can monetize it. Like for example, हमारे engineers के साथ में problem यही होती है. We are all good at, we all technical guys want to solve problems. और वो आपको कोई एक प्रॉब्लम मिल जाएगी, कोड में बग होगा, यू विल नॉट, आपको नींद नहीं आएगी जब तक वो बग निकल नहीं जाता है या वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो जाती. एंड द मोमेंट यू आर सॉर्टेड, द मोमेंट यू सॉल्व दैट प्रॉब्लम, यू आर सिटिंग ऑन द 9th cloud for 6 months, राइट? कि मैंने ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर लिया, आई हैव डन दिस इनोवेशन एंड ऑल दैट, सो दैट इज डन. एंड यू विल वेट फॉर द नेक्स्ट प्रॉब्लम टू स्ट्राइक यू, राइट? एंटरप्रेन्योर का काम वहां शुरू होता है जहां उसके पास ऑलरेडी एक सोल्यूशन है. उस solution से he will find out what are the use cases in which I can apply this solution. For each use case, he will create a huge business. Understand what I'm saying? अगर आपने कोई टेक्नोलॉजी बनाई या कोई सोल्यूशन बनाया, उसके आपने तो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर ली, यू आर हैप्पी. लेकिन एंटरप्रेन्योर क्या करेगा? वो ये सोचेगा कि इसके यूज केसेस कहाँ हैं, रियल लाइफ में हम कहाँ इसको यूज कर सकते हैं. Then he will customize the product around that use case and then sell. So unless you create a revenue model around your solution, you are not actually getting into a startup mode, right? You are still into the scientific and engineering mindset. So you start thinking of how will you create revenue out of your model. Once you have that, then you will figure out how to form a company. And you know, up fortunately, even when you are in campus, you can register a company जो आपका incubator है. उस incubator के address पर आप अपनी company को register कर सकते हो. You need not, you know, give your residential address or an address which is hypothetical. आप अपने पिलानी के incubator के address पर company register कर सकते हो. BITS also gives you 1 year for entrepreneurship. Startup अगर आपको बनाना हो तो वो आपको दो सेमेस्टर का वो भी देते हैं. So don't worry about how you get it. And this is not really a very important part of your journey. You know, the first thing is to create a revenue model out of a new solution. So worry about that first.
Thanks for that answer, sir. We'll move on to the audience questions. I think Arnav should go first.
Right. Am I audible?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Can you
Sir, I
switch on
wanted to.
Can you switch on your video?
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Yeah. Why should I be speaking to blank screens, sir? Why don't you all switch
Yes,
on
sir.
your videos, sir? Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, sir. Sir, so my question was like, there's always an element of risk associated with a startup. And in a tier one engineering college like BITS, we all have our fallback of key placement to lagi jayega. So, and the fact that you mentioned that the institute gives us 2 semesters to try out if we want to do a startup. So, can you elaborate on the importance that BITS gives us of a safety of a fallback, and it promotes the culture of innovation and risk taking among us engineers? So, how can other institutions support this? How can BITS even increase this support?
देखो ऐसा है, अगर आप entrepreneur हो और जो जैसा मैंने कहा कि you get, you know, two semesters just to try out something. You know, if you are thinking of a fallback, then it is not actually the right thing to do. When you are an entrepreneur, you decide that I don't want a job, I am not looking for a job, and I will try this on my own, I will survive on my own, right? So entrepreneur का mindset वो होता है. Okay, now you may think of joining a particular job, learning in a good organization for 4 to 5 years, maybe gaining some expertise, gaining some domain expertise, and creating your idea from there, and then branch off on your own. But if you are thinking कि मुझे job मिल जाएगा अगर ये मेरा startup नहीं चला, तो I think startup कभी चलेगा नहीं. मतलब actually नहीं चलेगा, because you are thinking ना कि चल try करते हैं, अगर नहीं होगा तो वो मिल जाएगा, तो उसमें startup बिल्कुल नहीं चलने वाला है. You
No
have to
plan
give
B
your
हो तो
100.
सारी dedication जाएगी.
मतलब उसमें ना हाँ you have to give your heart and soul into it, and then you have to
Right.
कि मेरे को दुनिया नहीं चाहिए. So there are people who have said मुझे Google join नहीं करना है, I want to do something on my own, right? So वो उस level का commitment चाहिए होगा, उसके लिए आपको खुद कुछ करना पड़ेगा.
Right. Thank you, sir.
And देखो risk तो है,
Thank you.
entrepreneurship में हमेशा risk होता है, लेकिन आप जितनी बार फेल होते हो उतनी बार you become stronger. And let me tell you, there is nobody in this world who hasn't failed. Everybody has failed. चाहे वो किसी सब्जेक्ट में फेल हुआ हो, चाहे लाइफ में किसी डिसीजन में गलत हुआ हो, हर आदमी फेलियर से ही आगे बढ़ता है. फेलियर को लेके अगर आप बैठ जाओगे कि यार ये तो खत्म हो गया, अब मुझे कोई दूसरा रास्ता देखना पड़ेगा, then you are gone. But if you build on the lessons that you've learned during the failure, and then just don't give up, that is what is the spirit of entrepreneurship.
Thank you, sir.
I think we have another question from the person running the organizing account. You can go ahead, please.
Good evening, sir. So basically, I can't switch on my camera. There's some issue with my camera. So can I just go ahead with my question?
Yeah, please.
So, sir, my question is kind of general in nature. So, I wanted to ask you, what are some things that Betsians our age should keep in mind so that whichever field we get into, we can excel in that. Like इस एज पे काफी सारे मिसकंसेप्शंस वगैरह वगैरह होते हैं, तो कुछ चीजें ऐसी जो हमें फोकस करना चाहिए जिसपे, ताकि आगे जाके हमें लाइफ में कुछ दिक्कतें ना आए.
So ये तो बहुत ही जेनरिक चीज आप कह रहे हो। देखो ऐसा है कि व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट इज एक्सेल इन व्हाटएवर, ट्राई टू डू व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू डू। अगर आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, अगर आपका मन पढ़ाई में लगता है, अगर आपका मन पढ़ाई में लगता है तो बेस्ट पढ़ाई में दो। अगर आपका मन पढ़ाई में नहीं लगता है तो आपका मन जिस काम में लगता है उसमें लगाओ। CGPA इज नो इंडिकेटर ऑफ योर सक्सेस और फेलियर। जिन लोगों का CGPA 9, 9.5 था, दे आर वेरी गुड एम्प्लॉयज टुडे, राइट। जिन लोगों का CGPA 5.5, 6, 6.5 था, they are best of the entrepreneurs today. And they have more money. They are employing, those who are 9 pointers and 9.5 pointers. So there is no guidance that I can give you. The guidance that I can only give you is try to excel in anything that you are doing. आप जो भी कर रहे हो, अगर आपको म्यूजिक का शौक है तो म्यूजिक में एक्सेल करो, कोई तुम्हारे बराबर आ ही ना पाए। अगर तुम्हें ड्रामा का शौक है तो ड्रामा करो, तो अगर तुम्हें स्टडीज का शौक है तो स्टडी करो, तुम्हें खेलने का शौक है तो खेलो, तुम्हें वीडियो गेम्स का शौक है तो वीडियो गेम करो। यू विल फिगर आउट कि उसमें कहाँ पे तुम्हें कहाँ मजा आ रहा है। यू शुड फॉलो योर ड्रीम्स, दैट इज व्हाट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट। यू ऑलरेडी रीच्ड BITS Pilani, so I don't have to tell you anything about you are all capable students. Getting into BITS Pilani is very very tough. It's even tougher than, very very tough. अगर आज मुझे जाना पड़े तो मैं तो नहीं घुस सकता BITS Pilani। So you are already so capable, आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो, but then just follow your dream. You have to figure out what gives you the maximum happiness. आपको क्या काम करने में सबसे ज्यादा मजा आता है, ये फिगर आउट करने की कोशिश करिए कभी। क्या आपको व्हाट इज इट दैट यू फील बेस्ट अबाउट, थिंक ऑफ दैट, उसमें एक्सेल करो। एंड देयर इज नथिंग बेटर देन डूइंग समथिंग दैट यू एंजॉय। तो आप वो करोगे और आपको ऐसा भी नहीं लगेगा कि आप थक रहे हो, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग बोर्ड, राइट। ऐसा कुछ सोचो, ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई व्हाट गिव्स यू हैप्पीनेस एंड एक्सेल इन इट। दैट इज व्हाट आई कैन से, वेरी जनरल।
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
I think Sukaran has a question. If you can go ahead, please.
Yeah, Sukaran?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are a cyber hacker.
Sir, my question.
You have such a sweet face यार, तुमने उसमें इतना dangerous looking face अपना क्यों बना रखा है प्रोफाइल में?
तो ऐसे ही था।
What? Okay, first tell me what's your which year you are?
First year.
Your first year. Okay.
Yeah.
Which Bhavan?
Sorry.
Which Bhavan?
Not from BITS.
Okay. So where are you from?
Delhi.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So my question is, how do we get better at selling? And two questions. Second question is, if let's say कोई भी स्मार्ट बंदा है, मतलब कोई भी एक्सपीरियंस्ड है या स्मार्ट है, and he is giving me some advice which I don't think applies on me. So how do I be confident on myself that how do I believe in myself?
Okay. Very good question. How do you believe in yourself? Now, you see, your self-belief will come out of some experimentation, right? आपने सोचा कि जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ वो ऐसे ऐसे काम करेगा, go test it out, वो वैसे करेगा कि नहीं करेगा। अगर वो आप जो सोच रहे हो वो सही है तो वो वैसे ही काम करेगा ना, पर टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा। At your age, you will know this only with some experience, right? आपको अगर कोई, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू सेड, अगर कोई प्रोडक्ट बेचना है तो वो किसको बेचना है? Was it that question?
How to get better at selling?
How to get better at selling? How to get better at selling means आपको जो भी आपका प्रोडक्ट आपने बनाया है उसके बेस्ट ऑफ द यूज केस बनाओ। यूज केसेस तो समझते हो ना? यू अंडरस्टैंड यूज केसेस?
Yes,
Right?
sir.
हाँ, उसमें जो सबसे सिंपल और सबसे यूनिवर्सल यूज केस हो उसके बारे में बात करो। और उसके बारे में जो एग्जिस्टिंग अवेलेबल प्रोडक्ट्स हैं उनसे कंपेयर करो, उनको स्टडी करो, उनको कंपेयर करो, उनको बोलो कि देखो ये प्रोडक्ट है, इसको आप ये इसमें आपको ये फैसिलिटी मिलती है, आज ऐसा कोई प्रोडक्ट नहीं है जिसमें ये फैसिलिटी हो, और ये मैं आपको इस प्राइस पे दे रहा हूँ. ट्राई डूइंग दिस वे.
Like I listen a lot to Steve Jobs, and the way he talked about his products, that was pretty amazing.
एग्जैक्टली. सो एप्पल के कोई भी आप प्रोडक्ट्स को देखो, वो ना सिंपल यूज केस को ढूंढते हैं. दे विल नेवर टेल यू कि आईफोन 14 प्रो में मोबाइल में क्या क्या एनहांसमेंट उन्होंने किया. दे विल टॉक ऑफ सम यूनिक फीचर विच इज नॉट अवेलेबल एनीवेयर एल्स, और उसका यूज केस वो सिंपल आदमी के लिए इतना सिंपल बना के देंगे कि वो फिर इट सेल्स. एवरीथिंग एल्स इज टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड. सो आपका जो प्रोडक्ट है उसका यूएसपी क्या है जो किसी और के पास नहीं है, और अगर है तो उनके कंपैरेटिव फीचर्स क्या है, वो कोशिश करो ना देखने की. इतना आपको ग्राउंड वर्क करना पड़ेगा व्हेन यू गो टू सेल. वंस यू डू दैट, होपफुली इट शुड वर्क.
Thank you, sir.
And the second thing, when you asked about believing in yourself, I am telling you, see, this will come only through some more experience.
Experimentation.
Experimentation. You are young. You may not have seen the whole world. So you may have certain ideas of how the दुनिया works. But दुनिया बहुत कमीनी है यार, वो वैसे काम नहीं करती जैसे तुम सोचते हो. So, I mean, there could be, some elderly advice which could actually be true. एंड जरूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, कई बार जैसे यंगर जनरेशन होता है, वो कहता है कि आप लोग छोड़ो यार, आपको कुछ पता नहीं है, हम आपको बताते हैं, हम लोग ऐसे काम करते हैं. वेल, यू मे प्रूव योरसेल्फ टू बी राइट. आई कांट आंसर दिस, सो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, बट यू मस्ट हैव द करेज ऑफ कन्विक्शन कि जो मैं कह रहा हूँ वो सही है. बट देन डोंट, उसमें क्या है ना, उसमें जिद नहीं होना चाहिए. जिद नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैंने ये सोचा इसलिए ये सही है, ऐसा नहीं. उसको आप इंटरनली इवेलुएट करते रहो कि यार ये मैं सोच रहा हूँ ये सही है या गलत है. टेस्ट इट विद सम अलग अलग लोगों से, अलग अलग सिचुएशन में उसको टेस्ट करो कि मेरी जो हाइपोथेसिस है वो सही है या नहीं. देन मे बी एक्सपेरिमेंट दैट.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Sanova. You have raised your hand. Do you have a question? You can please go ahead.
सनोवर
evening, sir.
या सनोवर, कहाँ से हो आप? वीडियो तो ऑन करो यार अपना.
मैं लुधियाना से हूँ. Actually, the camera is not working.
Okay. So where are you? Which are you in Pilani?
Yes, sir, I'm from BITS Pilani. I'm a second year student and I'm majoring in economics and computer science.
Right. कौन से भवन में हो?
And मैं शंकर भवन में.
शंकर में हो?
शंकर.
Okay, all right.
हाँ,
Right.
फर्स्ट
I
ईयर
used to be in
गांधी भवन में था अभी. हाँ, फर्स्ट ईयर में गांधी भवन में था.
Huh?
Question was, I was reading about your bio. So you started out as a software engineer. So I wanted to ask, what motivated you to join the Indian Police Service?
What motivated me to join the Indian Police Service? Yeah, that's a very good question यार. तुमने बिल्कुल मेरी वो पूछ लिया. देखो, बिट्स पिलानी में पहले सेमेस्टर में उन्होंने एक कोर्स कराया था हमको, कंप्यूटेशन टेक्निक्स, जिसमें कंप्यूटर सेंटर में एक IBM 1170 होता था. We used to punch cards. That was 79, right? And the first program that I wrote on was Magic Squares. Pascal में लिखा था. तो छोटा सा प्रोग्राम था, लेकिन वो 4 बार उसको जा करके पंच कार्ड्स करके, और फिर वो जब आउटपुट आया तो वो फॉर्चुनेटली मेरा पहली बार में आ गया. आई वॉज वेरी एक्साइटेड अबाउट दैट. एंड देन वहाँ से कुछ IT का कीड़ा ऐसा लगा कि आई जस्ट वांटेड टू गेट इनटू इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी. मुझे सॉफ्टवेयर में ही जाना था. फिर सिविल इंजीनियरिंग में आई हैड द मैक्सिमम CGPA. तो सिविल इंजीनियर्स को उस समय जॉब नहीं मिलते थे 1984 में, राइट? और 84 में अगर आप देखो तो सिविल इंजीनियर्स वर सपोज टू वर्क ओनली फॉर द गवर्नमेंट. PWD में, इरिगेशन में, रेलवे में, बस यही सिविल इंजीनियर्स के लिए यही जॉब्स थे. तो फॉर्चुनेटली आई व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग माय PS2, आई गॉट अ प्लेसमेंट इंटरव्यू कॉल through the Pilani campus only from Engineers India Limited, EIL, and position थी software engineer, software development engineer for civil engineering applications. Now वो मेरा dream job था. I got my dream job in my first interview. That was developing software application, writing software applications for civil engineering applications. Nothing better than that. अब मैंने EIL ज्वाइन कर लिया. EIL ज्वाइन करने के बाद में, you know, that time we had Calcom, बहुत बेसिक सी हमारे पास सॉफ्टवेयर था. पेन को उठाओ, नीचे रखो, XY पे जाओ, एंगल पे कुछ लिखो, टेक्स्ट को लिखो, बहुत बेसिक से सॉफ्टवेयर थे. उनको यूज करके वी यूज टू ड्रॉ कंस्ट्रक्शन ड्राइंग्स फॉर सिविल इंजीनियरिंग. लोड्स होते थे, हम उनसे पूरा डिजाइन करते थे. सो इट वाज एंड टू एंड, इंटीग्रेटेड सॉफ्टवेयर पैकेजेस हम लोग बनाते थे. बट देन आई रियलाइज्ड that in my specialization, I am becoming a prisoner of the company. Now I will have to stay with EIL because बाहर मुझे मेरी जो भी मैं स्किल सेट डेवलप कर रहा हूँ, उसका बाहर मुझे कोई कंपनी मुझे एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं देगा, राइट? I was becoming a prisoner of my specialization. So that was one part. Second, हम जब जूनियर से फर्स्ट ईयर में जब ऐसे ज्वाइन किया था इंजीनियर्स इंडिया लिमिटेड में, बहुत बड़ा सारा हॉल होता था, जैसे सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनीज में होते हैं ना बड़े बड़े हॉल्स. बिकॉज आई वाज द जूनियर मोस्ट, तो मैं सबसे आगे बैठता था, और हमसे पीछे फिर कोई हमसे सीनियर बैठा था, हमसे उससे पीछे और सीनियर बैठता था, और जो सबसे पीछे बैठा था ना सीट पे, वो बंदा सबसे सीनियर होता था. तो जैसे ओपन वाले उसमें होता है. तो यार हमने ये देखा कि मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँ, और जो पीछे एक हमारे बंदे बैठते थे, मिस्टर वर्मा, ही यूज्ड टू बी वेरी सीनियर. ही वाज कंसिडर्ड अ दाद. वो कि भाई वो तो दाद है यार, वो बंदा IIT दिल्ली का है, बहुत पुराना, पता नहीं 1970 बैच का है कोई भी, ही इज अल्टीमेट दाद. और वो उसको कोई भी चीज़ होती है उसको वहाँ बुलाते हैं, इटली जाना होता है उसको, यूरोप जाना होता है. ही इज द गाय हु इज अल्टीमेट इन दिस थिंग. तो मैंने यार ये सोचा कि बॉस, अगर मैं यहाँ पे रहूँगा तो 15 या 20 साल में मेरा जो प्रोग्रेस है वो मेरी इस टेबल से उस टेबल तक होगा. दिस इज व्हाट विल बी माय प्रोग्रेस इन लाइफ, राइट? सो आई वांटेड समथिंग मोर फ्रॉम माय लाइफ. आई सेड यार इससे काम नहीं चलेगा बॉस, मेरे को कुछ और करना पड़ेगा. तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? बिट्स से निकलते समय तक सिविल सर्विसेज क्या होती है मुझे आइडिया भी नहीं था. मेरी औकात नहीं थी कि मैं IAS IPS का सोचूं भी, लेकिन फिर सोचना पड़ा मजबूरी में, बिकॉज आई वॉन्टेड टू एक्सप्लोर मोर अपॉर्चुनिटीज. देखे तो सही यार क्या है उसमें. फिर पहली बार सिविल सर्विसेज का एग्जाम दिया बिना कुछ पढ़े, जाकर के प्रीलिम्स दे के आए. सिविल इंजीनियरिंग ऑप्शन था और एक जनरल स्टडीज था, और एग्जाम देकर आए तो लगा यार थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ लेते ना तो ये डुएबल था. अगले साल पढ़ के दिया और हो गया. IAS की कोशिश की, IAS नहीं मिला, IPS ज्वाइन कर लिया. और IPS में भी इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिली. अगर आप देखो, आई हैव हैड वेरी वेरी एक्सेप्शनल काइंड ऑफ वर्क इन IPS. बहुत मुझे आई हैव बीन वेरी फॉर्चुनेट. बहुत बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स किए, इनोवेटिव प्रोजेक्ट्स किए, नए नए प्रोजेक्ट्स किए, जिसमें पब्लिक के लिए बहुत कॉमन गुड बहुत क्रिएट किया ना. एक्सट्रीमली हैप्पी अबाउट व्हाट आई हैव डन. सो दिस इज व्हाट इट वाज अ ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम BITS Pilani to Engineers India, from writing software to civil services.
I don't think we have any more questions from the audience.
So,
just one thing.
One second. So, Sanovar, what is your reaction to this? Sorry, I couldn't understand what you're saying. I couldn't understand what
Sanova, you aren't audible. Could you speak louder or maybe try reconnecting or something?
Yeah, I was just saying, sir, I was really
Sanova, your voice is breaking. Maybe you can rejoin. Till then, we can answer Krish's question. Krish, you can please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. My name is Krish.
Good evening, Krish.
Freshman.
Are you working from home or what?
No,
Which
it's actually
Pilani?
the hostel room.
Hostel? Okay.
Yeah.
Which bhavan?
Krishna.
Very nice. Okay. Good. Krishna Gandhi mess.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I've been part of that mess. Yeah.
Uh,
Room number बोलो.
4154.
4154. तुम लोग के रूम नंबर अब बड़े हो गए ना यार. हमारे नंबर 3 डिजिट के होते थे.
Oh,
You
okay.
have now that वो पीछे वाला कौन सा H wing बना दिया है. फिर उसको नंबर्स काफी बढ़ गए.
हाँ.
Yeah. Carry on. बोलो.
I wanted to ask you कि अभी जैसे बहुत सारे अलग-अलग career options हैं. So what is the right way to explore them all? जैसे आपने काफी सारी चीजें experience की है. So how should one explore the different opportunities available?
देखो, as I said, I will tell you, I will go a little unconventional on this. पहली बात तो ये है कि तुम देखो बिट्स पिलानी में आए हो पढ़ाई करने के लिए, डिग्री तो ले लो. सीजीपीए पूछूंगा नहीं मैं, और सीजीपीए का कोई फर्क पड़ता भी नहीं. आई हैव टोल्ड यू दिस. जिनका सीजीपीए 9 9.5 होता है, दे बिकम वेरी गुड एम्प्लॉइज इन बेस्ट ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेशंस इन एमएनसीज एंड ग्लोबली, राइट. जिनका सीजीपीए 5 5.5 6 होता है, दे बिकम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स. वो बेस्ट एंटरप्रेन्योर्स होते हैं. आई नो ऑफ वन गाय हु वाज 5.5 एसीबी में रहा 2-3 साल. टुडे ही ओन्स प्लेन्स. वो यूएस में ओन्स प्लेन्स, और वो मतलब ही सेज अनिल मेकिंग मनी इज नॉट एन इशू एट ऑल. आई नो हाउ टू मेक मनी. सो दैट इज व्हाट मैटर्स. सी, जब हम लोग थे तब कैरियर ऑप्शंस वर लिमिटेड. इंजीनियर बनना है, डॉक्टर बनना है. आज इतने ज्यादा ऑप्शंस हैं. देयर इज सो मच ऑफ प्रोफेशनलाइजेशन ऑफ, देयर इज सो मच मोनेटाइजेशन इन ईच ऑफ द सर्विसेज. लेट्स पुट इट दिस वे. सो if you want to get into sports, if you want to get into music, if you want to get into, what's your hobby?
Drawing and playing tennis.
Drawing and painting, arts. Now, see, ultimately, what is being professional? Professional is being professional means how do you monetize what you want to do, right? आप उसको monetize कैसे करोगे? If you know how to monetize, you are a successful entrepreneur. चाहे कुछ भी हो, you can monetize your art, you can monetize your sport, you can monetize your music, sport, art, ये सब क्या monetization ही तो हो रहा है. वो स्टार्टअप नहीं है क्या? एवरी सिंगर जो केबीसी में आते हैं, या जो फॉर एग्जांपल जो ये सोनी वाले शो में जो नए सिंगर्स आते हैं, वो क्या है? दे आर ऑल स्टार्टअप्स यार. एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं वो अपना पढ़ाई वढ़ाई छोड़ करके अपने पैशन को फॉलो कर रहे हैं ना. ये सोचो कि तुम्हें खुशी किसमें सबसे ज्यादा मिलती है. What is it when you are happy? What is it that when you are doing, you are the happiest? ऐसी कौन सी चीज है? क्या उसमें ऐसा कुछ है जिसको आप मोनेटाइज कर सकते हो? तो अगर आप उस तरह की कोई चीज सोचो और उस तरह का कोई एक्चुअली कंपनी क्रिएट करो, nothing like it. You will live your love and also make money. अगर वो नहीं होता, ठीक है, we all make compromises. वो नहीं होता तो get a good degree, get a good job. And do that. So getting a job, it depends on what is your ambition in life. One is getting a job. So actually ambition भी हम लोग का चेंज होता रहता है ना. जैसे पहले हमारा ambition होता है कि यार एक जॉब मिल जाए. फिर ये होता है कि यार अच्छी कंपनी में मिल जाता तो अच्छा रहता. पहले कोई जॉब मिल जाए, फिर कोई जॉब मिल गया. फिर होता है कि यार थोड़ी अच्छी कंपनी में मिल जाता तो अच्छा रहता. फिर अच्छी कंपनी में भी मिल गया. फिर अच्छी कंपनी में फिर वो पैकेज ठीक से नहीं मिला. फिर हमको लगता है यार अच्छी कंपनी तो मिल गई बट पैकेज थोड़ा कम है यार, बाकी लोगों को ज़्यादा मिल रहा है. वो पैकेज भी मिल गया. फिर एम्बिशन चेंज हो जाता है, यार पैकेज तो अच्छा मिला है, सब कुछ है, पैसा भी है, अच्छी कंपनी में हूँ, लेकिन यार काम में मज़ा नहीं है. वही क्या रूटीन का काम कर रहे हैं. व्हाट इज इट दैट आई एम डूइंग. तो उसमें सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन नहीं है. तो एक्चुअली अल्टीमेटली इट इज मैस्लोज नीड हायरार्की में अल्टीमेटली इट इज एक्चुअलाइजेशन दैट इज अल्टीमेट. तो आपको एक्चुअलाइजेशन पैसे के बाद मिलेगा या पैसे के पहले मिलेगा, ये आप खुद ही फिगर आउट करना पड़ेगा.
बट जैसे अभी कैसे ऑप्शन बहुत सारे हैं, जैसे यहाँ पे भी अलग अलग क्लब्स है, अलग अलग, जैसे आपसे भी मैं बात कर पा रहा हूँ इधर. सो दैट इज बिकॉज द अपॉर्चुनिटी दैट बिट्स इज प्रोवाइडिंग. तो आई एम गेटिंग एक्सपोज टू अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंट, और सभी चीज़ें में अभी अच्छा लग रहा है. तो how to figure out कि actually आप किस चीज के लिए better हो?
That's what I'm saying. Try. This is the most difficult question to answer. कि मुझे खुशी किसमें सबसे ज्यादा मिलती है? That only you can answer.
Okay.
What is it that you are happiest? What is it that keeps you the happiest? जिसमें आपका मन लगता है. I am very happy when I am doing this. वो वाली चीज देखो और उसमें देखो कि उसको आप कैसे मोनेटाइज कर सकते हो.
Right.
वो एक स्टार्टअप बन जाता है.
Right, sir.
This is
Thank you.
This is one of the. There is no unique. Every entrepreneur has a unique story. सबका अलग अलग मोटिवेशन होता है. You never know what works out for you. Right? Yeah. और देखो हमने जो इंजीनियरिंग डिग्री किया, तुम्हारी क्या ब्रांच है?
Triple E.
हाँ, ट्रिपल ई. Now, are you wedded to triple E for life? No.
Right.
I mean, see, that depends. So my answer would be no, because there are people who would like to get into investment banking. यार मुझे तो investment banking में जाना है, जॉब चाहिए investment banking में. डिग्री इंजीनियरिंग डिग्री तो कर ली ना.
हाँ.
इंजीनियरिंग तो भाई इंजीनियरिंग was by chance. I just because I was one of the most brilliant, so I did engineering. और ट्रिपल ई मैंने किया, इसका मतलब ये है कि यार मैं बेस्ट था तभी तो मुझे ट्रिपल ई मिला, अदरवाइज ट्रिपल ई मिलता ही नहीं. ठीक है. सो मुझे इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में जाना है क्योंकि मुझे पैसा बनाना है. अल्टीमेटली पैसा बनाना इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव.
Okay.
ट्रिपल ई में रह के क्या करूंगा यार? कोर इंजीनियरिंग को तो जॉब ही नहीं मिलते आजकल.
Right.
बताओ, सिविल, मैकेनिकल, केमिकल, इन लोगों को जॉब मिलते हैं क्या? उनके पैकेजेस हमेशा कमजोर होते हैं. होते कि नहीं होते? सबको पता है. तो एवरीबडी वांट्स टू गेट इनटू इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग. सबको पीवीसी फंड्स में जाना है, सबको स्टार्टअप्स में जाना है. तो एक तरीका वो है कि एक अच्छा हाई पेइंग जॉब ले लो और अपने कंफर्ट जोन में रहो. दूसरा, खुद अगर अपना बिजनेस क्रिएट करना है तो अपना स्टार्टअप क्रिएट करो. ठीक है.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
ओके. या बाय.
I think Sanovar has another
So-
question. Sanovar, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I
Am
need
I
to
aud-
close
am
this.
I audible, sir?
Oh yes, Sanovar, you are audible and
Yeah.
you are visible also. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will be the last question that we'll take. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as my voice was breaking before, I was really inspired to hear your journey from a software engineer to Indian public service. I myself am kind interested towards public services, as both of my parents are government employees. So it was really nice to hear what your journey has been.
Good. So what are you doing now? What branch? Which campus?
Economics and computer science, Pilani campus.
Economic and computer science. If you are inclined towards public services, best ये है कि civil services का syllabus उठाओ और अभी से तैयारी शुरू करो. Which year are you in?
I'm in second year.
Second year. और अगर आपके पेरेंट्स दोनों गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में है, आईएएस को एम करो और there is nothing that you can't do. Okay?
But it's just sometimes I think that like see a student gets like nice packages, so I should go towards that. So I'm a little bit conflicted. What would your suggestion be on that?
All right. There are two. This is a conflict that you will have to resolve yourself. I've been through the IPS all my life. My wife is an IAS officer. I am retired now. She still is secretary level. We've reached the highest levels of government. My daughter has done her computer science, and when she wanted to apply for civil service, we said you don't do that. Because she was working for Amazon and getting a huge package. Right? हमने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी ईमानदारी में गुजार दी. Right? हमारे पास कभी पैसा नहीं रहा. And we always thought कि यार we needed more money. तो हमने अपने बेटे को कहा कि बिटिया यार तू तो खुश रह, कम से कम तेरे को तो पैसा चाहिए, तू यार कम से कम लाइफ में वो सब एंजॉय कर जो हम नहीं करा पाए तेरे को. गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में पैसा आपके पास बिल्कुल नहीं रहेगा. आप आईएएस में चले जाओ, आईपीएस में चले जाओ, कहीं चले जाओ, अनलेस यू स्टार्ट मेकिंग नंबर 2 का मनी. और अगर आप नंबर 2 का पैसा बनाने लगोगे ना, तो आपकी जिंदगी इतनी खराब हो जाएगी कि आप मतलब देन एवरीबडी विल बी आफ्टर यू. आपको नींद नहीं आएगी. we've had our this thing. We've had our this thing. हम लोग We wanted to sleep at night properly and we didn't want to have any issues. तो हम लोगों ने पैसा सरकार से नहीं बनाया, गुडविल बहुत क्रिएट किया. दैट इज द वेल्थ दैट वी हैव क्रिएटेड. So we have used goodwill in the minds of people, and that is what is our wealth. You have to decide that. So if you are okay with not having a lot of money with you, then you should definitely try public service. Definitely try public service. और अगर आपको IAS IPS मिलता है ना यार, तो फिर पैसे का कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं रहता वहाँ. वो फिर पैसे का कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं रहता. फर्स्ट, और IAS IPS का भी मैं बता देता हूँ. फर्स्ट 10-15 ईयर्स तो यू आर द किंग. आपको जितनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज मिलती हैं उतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज दुनिया में किसी जॉब में नहीं मिल सकती. किसी जॉब में नहीं मिल सकती. उतनी लीगल पावर्स, उतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव का रोल, वो आपको कहीं और नहीं मिल सकता. लेकिन 10-12 साल के बाद में फिर वही फ्रस्ट्रेशंस हैं, वो सब है. तो ऑन द होल आई वुड से माय करियर हैज बीन एक्सेप्शनल. IPS में इतना करने को बहुत कम लोगों को मिलता है. बट देन यू हैव अ कंफर्टेबल लाइफ. वैसे चल जाता है. अगर वो नहीं है तो लाइफ कंफर्टेबल है. तो आपको डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा कि आपको क्या चाहिए. इफ यू आर इंक्लाइंड, मैंने 2009 में भी, मैं जब अपने सिल्वर जुबली यूनियन के लाया था, बच्चों से यही कहा था कि यार सिविल सर्विसेज को अगर ऑप्शन को निगेट करना है तो कॉन्शियस डिसीजन लो. यू टेक अ कॉन्शियस कॉल कि मुझे सिविल सर्विसेज में नहीं जाना है. राइट?
यस सर.
नहीं जाने का कॉन्शियस डिसीजन होना चाहिए कि हाँ भाई मुझे नहीं जाना है. आई वांट टू बी ओनली इन द प्राइवेट सेक्टर. बट अगर आपको कभी बाद में लगता है कि मुझे सिविल सर्विसेज में जाना है, तो यार अगर आपके पेरेंट्स गवर्नमेंट में हैं और आपको अभी से लग रहा है कि हाँ यू आर इंक्लाइंड, देन यू शुड प्रिपेयर फॉर इट. डोंट वेस्ट टाइम. अभी आपकी क्या एज है?
आई एम 19 years old.
यू आर 19. अभी से तैयारी शुरू करो. 21-22 में चले जाओ फाइनल ईयर के साथ में. टेक द एग्जाम. फाइनल ईयर की इमीडिएटली बाद टेक द एग्जाम. यू कैन बी वन ऑफ द यंगेस्ट इन द बैच टू डू दैट. अभी तो बैच अटेम्प्ट्स भी बहुत हो गए. पता नहीं 5-6 अटेम्प्ट्स मिलते हैं आजकल. तो बहुत अटेम्प्ट्स हैं.
यस सर.
और ऐसा नहीं है कि वो डिफिकल्ट है. देयर इज नथिंग डिफिकल्ट. IAS में आने में 3 साल लगते हैं. यू जस्ट हैव टू फॉरगेट एवरीथिंग एल्स एंड गेट प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर इट. यू विल गेट इट. कोई मुश्किल नहीं है. लेकिन वो बस वो ये है कि 3 साल के लिए बाकी सारी दुनिया को छोड़ के, व्हाट्सएप को छोड़ के, रिश्तेदारी को छोड़ के, दोस्तों को छोड़ के, वही मैं कहता हूँ ना कि जब मेरे दोस्त गर्लफ्रेंड्स को लेके घूमते थे तब हम पढ़ाई करते होते थे सिविल सर्विसेज में.
यस सर.
सिंपल बात है. आपको वो उस एज में वो आपको टेम्पटेशन छोड़ने पड़ेंगे.
And I also wanted to ask, since your daughter is in Amazon, so you know her corporate lifestyle and your lifestyle as a public service officer. So what is, like, except the monetary aspect, like what are the differences in the lifestyles?
नहीं, अब लाइफस्टाइल में हमारी लाइफस्टाइल तो टोटली एक्चुअली वो कंपैरिजन करना पॉसिबल नहीं है. हम फॉर एग्जांपल आई थिंक वैसे जो लाइफस्टाइल है हमारी तो बहुत डिफरेंट है. वी हैव, मतलब घर में रेवेन्यू होता है स्टाफ का. वी लिव लाइक लॉर्ड्स. हमें कुछ भी करना होता है हम सबसे पहले घंटी बजाते हैं. पानी भी पीना होता है तो ये देखो मेरी यहाँ पे ना टेबल पे एक कॉल बेल रखी हुई है. मुझे कुछ भी करना होगा तो मैं पहले घंटी बजाता हूँ. फिर कोई बंदा आता है, फिर वो मुझे पानी ला के देता है. तो ये तो मेरी बिटिया नहीं कर सकती ना. वो तो उसको तो सारा खुद ही करना पड़ता है. तो हम तो वी आर स्पॉइल्ड. तो ऐसा ही है. तो यू हैव टू डिसाइड. बट मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है. पैसा उसके पास है. शी कैन गो फॉर फॉरेन हॉलीडेज. शी कैन गो एनीवेयर व्हाट शी वांट टू डू. शी कैन बाय एनीथिंग. उसको कुछ भी खरीदने के लिए सोचना नहीं पड़ता. मैं कोई भी चीज़ खरीदूंगा तो मुझे 3 महीने तक प्लान करूंगा. फिर मैं 1 लाख रुपए की कोई चीज़ खरीदूंगा. उसको 1 लाख रुपए की चीज़ खरीद देती है. आईफोन खरीदना होता है, फट से वो खरीद लेती है. If I have to buy an iPhone, I will plan for 6 months and then I will buy. So फर्क है यार. दोनों लाइफस्टाइल्स में बहुत फर्क है. You have to take a call.
Thank you, sir. That was a really insightful answer and gives me a lot to ponder about. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I think we're done with the audience questions. We'll just draw to the close. I would like to thank Sir for taking time out for this session. It was an absolute. And if you ever visit the campus in the near future, BITS Embryo would love to host a similar event with you in person in the auditorium. I would also like to thank the audience for joining us. Before we wrap up, it would be grateful if the audience could fill out the feedback form, which I've posted into the chat. BITS Embryo strives to organize more of these talks and hopes to uphold the spirit of BITS Embryo and keep the conversation nature of these events going. Thank you all for your time, and I hope you all have a great evening ahead. So, if you could stay back for just a minute, I need to talk to you.
Okay. I
Sir, we
need
have a
to.
set of
Yeah.
second, just a minute. We have a set of fourth-year students who are working on a project/startup on ONDC and ONDC related platform, something along those lines. So they needed to connect with you. If it's all right, if I could share your number with them and I'll connect you with them.
Absolutely. So let them give my number. I am ready to host another session exclusively for them.
Okay, that's all right. I'll
Alright,
act as a POC for you and
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Yes. Please share my number. Absolutely. It's absolutely delightful to speak to every one of you, and I will really give whatever ideas I can give.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you.